see his thoughts flowing and coming out nicely, and then something triggers you. So that triggers an opportunity. In the Chinese language, the word, the pictogram for a crisis, a conflict, is the same pictogram for opportunity. So there's no bad thoughts. If you understand, if you're an inquirer, the bad thoughts is just simply what are opportunities to go back to your nature. And as soon as you think that thought, you're there, because you're there before you think the thought. You just have forgotten temporarily. How do you implement these values? You make a resolution. If you have a burning desire to know the truth, which is one of the four main qualifications. The first qualification is discrimination. That means knowing the difference between what's real and what isn't. We're not talking about discriminating between one object and another. We're talking about knowing the difference between the subject and the object, what's eternal and ever present, and what's changing and non-eternal, between the self and the not-self. That's called discrimination. And the second one is dispassion. What's dispassion? Indifference to the results of your action. What? Right? The jiva is not indifferent to the results of its action, or it wouldn't. If it was indifferent, it wouldn't be doing the actions. It cares about the result. And a dispassionate person is indifferent. It's going to leave it up to Ishvara. And say, well, what will be, will be. I do what I do. I do my best. And what will be, will be. Ke sara, sara. Huh? Right? And the third one is a group of qualities that involved mental control. First of all, control the sense organs. And second, control the mind. Or control the mind is first. And if you can't control the mind, then control the senses. Because if you control the senses, the mind will be controlled. It's better to try to control the mind first, because then the senses will fall under control. But if you can't control the mind, then control the senses, and it takes a little longer, but then the mind becomes controlled, because the two are interconnected. They're interrelated. And then what else? Suffer the little pinpricks of life with equanimity. It's called titiksha. There's all these little things, just tiny little pinpricks. They're not a big deal, but we make a big story about them. He's mentioned that earlier about gratuitous, unnecessary fears and desires come up. Okay, just so what? Big deal. So what? I don't need that. Leave it like that. So, and what? Faith in the teaching. Well, this isn't going to work if you're going yeah but. Whenever we have the satsang, if you listen, when people say yeah but, we call that the yeah but monster. Huh? That one screams out. That's the contrary ego that wants to argue with the teaching. Yeah, but it wants to take the dualistic point of view and justify the dualistic point of view. So it presents a clever argument. That's Arjuna. Yeah, but I'm going to have to kill my gurus. Krishna said, well, so what? They're happy to kill you. This is what he tells them. They're happy to kill you. They're going to do their duty. Then what are you making a big story about this about? This is war. It's not a sentimental thing. We were down to the nitty-gritty here. And you just got to do what you got to do. And at the end, he tells him, he said, I've told you this whole thing, the whole teaching. He says, do what you will. He says, it's up to you. I can't make you do anything. He says, but you will do what I tell you, whether you like it or not, because it's ordained. It's already in the pipeline. The war is already done before it's done. It's already been decided. By what? By Ishvara. All this, the war, right? All those things, they're already over. There's other issues waiting, and those will be the new issues, and we'll have forgotten all about this, and nobody will be talking about it in however long, in a day, a week, a month, who knows. So you might as well just see it from that point of view, from the big picture point of view, and not waste your time. Keep your mind what? On yourself. It says here. So, and that keeping your mind on yourself is called discipline. That's what we call upasana yoga. The 4 Ds: discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and devotion. Those are 4 Ds. Those are the disciplines. So a disciple, if you say you're the disciple of a guru, what does that mean? You're a disciplined person. That's what disciple means, is that he or she is a disciplined person. He follows the discipline, the rules, the Dharma. The Dharma is a discipline. Right? In the story of Ram, I don't know if you read the Ramayana, the story of Ram. Oh, you must read it. He's the perfect example of Dharma, because in his life everything goes wrong. Everything that he wants he doesn't get, or if he gets it, it's taken away right away. So everything, it's just no matter what. He's supposed to be king. They're already setting the coronation, getting everything ready, and that's taken away from him. He has to take his wife to the forest, even though she's a princess. He can't give her the kind of life that she's accustomed to her Dharma, and she has to live like a native in the forest. As soon as he gets his wife to the forest, she gets stolen by a demon, and just one thing after another goes wrong, and yet what? And yet Ram is always cheerful, and always clear, and just keeps doing his duty. He never complains. He just because for him, what's important is not to get what he wants, but it's to do the right thing. What he wants is to do the right thing. That's his desire. His strongest desire is to serve Dharma. So that makes him happy to do that. And all these disappointments are just opportunities for him to what? To attain his desire, which is to serve God. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And he gets all this help along the way. It's just it's all Vedanta in code. All the characters represent the gunas and the different principles. His brother represents dispassion, and Ravana's uncle represents Maya, and Ravana is the same as Duryodhana, and etc., etc., etc. And the backstory is absolutely wonderful. It's all cosmic backstory that's playing out in the present. And it's just so elegant and so simple and so pure. It just makes you happy to see how all these characters perform their dharmas appropriately. Hanuman, the monkey, great guy. Hanuman was he was the most sophisticated, disciplined, beautiful man. Oh, and he was brilliant. Etc. He wasn't. The monkey doesn't mean he's a monkey. But anyway, so discipline and auto-suggestion. Always be talking to yourself. And when Sundari met me, she said, "What are you talking to? What are you talking to all the time?" "Talking to myself." Huh? I'm talking to Ishvara. Ishvara's telling me stuff, and I'm telling Ishvara back. We're just chatting all the time. Auto-suggestion, huh? Keep it going. Keep a dialogue going with Ishvara. Understand? So your life is full. Swamiji was always muttering, Narayana, Govinda. He's like always talking to the self over and over and over again. Whenever things were quiet, he'd be working. He'd say Narayana, Govinda, and you could see he was like communicating. It's a beautiful thing. Precaution. Precaution's not fear. Precaution means planning. Think things through and plan things out. Because life's pretty predictable. The guna, as we said, what did we say about the gunas? One of the characteristics was they change predictably. That's good. Now you could call that boring, but that's the upside of that is what? You can pretty much figure out how things are going to work, so you can make plans so they do work out. And then things go smoothly. But if you're just impulsive, if you're just impulsive and you just wait to the last minute, then things are always going to go 6s and 7s and running here and there, and you're just going to be, you're going to be pushed around by circumstances all the time. But if you're careful, you plan everything out, you think it out. Like I had to go to America during the pandemic. I went to the States to do my annual camp out in the forest in southern Washington. And you have no idea how much effort I put into planning it. It was really a lot. I spent more time planning it than I did doing it. And it worked perfectly, of course, until the very last day, and then everything went kind of funny. But because I planned it properly, I had enough energy to solve the problem at the end anyway, that I couldn't have foreseen that problem. But everything went absolutely perfectly. Even the weather worked perfectly. Because I planned it. I thought it out. My wife and I talked about it. I planned every single thing, right down to the last detail. And then I made all my moves very, very carefully and so forth and so on. And it was smooth. I didn't get the virus. Everything worked. Everybody was happy. It was really, really a great event, spiritual event. Right? So, think ahead, take precautions, plan. And be modest, prudent. Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you're hungry, don't take a great big steak. Cut a little bit out and eat a bit of that. Just don't, you think, oh, I'm hungry, I can do this. You have these projects. You see all these tech companies, they have these grand plans, and when it gets right down to it, 2/3 of them fail. Why? Because they're grandiose. They're not modest. They're not humble. They try to do way more than is possible because there's so much desire and so much greed to succeed that they make bigger plans than they should, and then the more variables that are operating in the situation, the less predictable things are. The less variables you have to deal with in any situation, the more you can control that situation. Well, Ramji, you're not supposed to control the situation. No, you're not. You can't control the result, but you can definitely what? You're free to act. And that freedom to act is what? To think things through. That's all. Planning just means, and then what? And then holding back, restraining. That's the yoga. You must read The Power of No, because it talks about these qualities: restraining and withdrawing, and holding back, not just rushing into something because you're enthusiastic. Rajasic people tend to be very, very positive and enthusiastic people. And they think they can do a lot more than they can actually do. So they take big projects on. And doesn't always work that well. For them, the mantra is what? What's your mantra? What should you chant? Less is more. Always smart people think, how can I do it the simplest, easiest way? Right? And then that's not tamasic, right? That's just let's be careful here. Let's not. All right. So introspection, that we talked about it. Prayer. Pray. Absolutely. Actually, just pray to Ishvara. Make sure you know what you're praying for. Don't ask. You're praying all the time, actually. Every action you do is a prayer to Ishvara. You're signaling to Ishvara what you want. But talk to Ishvara. Say, I need this, I need that. Please help me here. I've got to go here, I've got to do that, and this and that and the other thing. I need some help here. And yourself is listening. This is a real presence. This is a real living entity in here talking. It's not something that's far away that, goes on to his desk and sits on his desk forever, and the guy doesn't get around to it. Ishvara is listening every second, and Ishvara is the devotee of the devotee. Remember, we said that the guru is the disciple of the disciple. Is the devotee of the devotee. Ishvara is your devotee. They're both why? Because they're both mithya. Ishvara and Jiva are mithya, so they have a relationship, a natural relationship. So, talk to Ishvara. If Ishvara is not quite on the ball, scold him. Hey, just a minute, I need a little help here. I asked you, I talked to you. I remember one time I was with Swamiji and we were traveling in India. In those days, you got a visa for a 6-month visa, I think it was, or 3 months. Was it 3 months? I think I had 3 months. And then you had to renew it. You had to go to the police station and renew it. And we were traveling so fast that and the satsang was going and I was with him 24/7. So from like 3 or 4 in the morning when I brought him his tea and just stood around waiting to serve him till like 11 at night after the last satsang, I was always busy doing my devotional service to my guru. So, and we were going from town to town. We'd spend 10 days in one country, and then we'd fly to the next country and spend 10 days there. And we'd fly to the next country and spend 10 days there. So we were going all the way around the world. And so and when we got to India, it was the same thing. We'd go from one city to another city, another, so forth and so on. So my visa was running out, and I said to Swamiji, I said, hey, listen, can you help me with the visa? Because otherwise, I'm going to have to go to Bombay, and I'm going to have to, kind of this and that. And it's going to be a big hassle. You'll have to get somebody else to look after your oxygen bottle, and it'll be a big trouble for me. And if you have any kind of, connections or, know anything, maybe you could put in a word. So he said, oh, don't worry about it. I said, oh, okay, I won't worry about it. So he said, don't worry about it. The Guru's always right. Okay, don't worry about it. The very last day, he hadn't said a thing. My visa was running out that very day. And I didn't want to, question him. I didn't want to say, hey, Swami. Oh, hey, this is me. You said you were going to do this. Get on the phone, man. I'm worried. I wasn't going to do that, It wasn't classy. And for one thing, it just wasn't, you just didn't do it. That was all. It wasn't a classy thing to do. And then about 4 PM, we were sitting on the guy's veranda, and this man walked in. Very dignified man, well dressed. He comes up to Swami, touches his feet, and they sit and have a little satsang. And we have a nice little satsang there. A couple of other people, devotees in the house, showed up. We had a nice little satsang. And then the man got up to leave, and Swamiji said to the man, oh, hey, so-and-so, will you take Ram and fix his visa for him? He was the chief of police. He just took me down, looked at my thing, got it stamped, signed it like that, and I came back for dinner. And I said, Swamiji, that was a little close. He said, oh, he said, so what? He said, you could meditate in jail. So, plan, pray, right? Don't be afraid to talk to Ishwara. Ishwara loves you. The Christians are right. God loves you. They're right. You think they're idiots? They're not idiots. They're idiots about some things, but they're not idiots about that. They're right. God does love you.
And never be late.
Huh?
And never be late.
Never be
late.
Yeah, never be late. Yeah. God can never be late. You can never be late. And God will never be late. Everything's always good. It always works, right? But the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? You know that? If you have a car and it's making the wheels go, every time the wheel goes around, it's squeaking, it's going. Now that means what? It needs grease. You won't put grease on it unless it's squeaking. So Ishwara is not going to help you unless you squeak. Man or a mouse? Squeak up! You a man or you a mouse? Squeak up! Yeah. Make some noise. To Ishwara. Stop bothering other people. Or, if Ishwara is the other people, then speak up, but speak what? As if you're talking to Ishwara, because you are talking to Ishwara. Because what isn't Ishwara? And everything comes through people. That man was Ishwara, wasn't he? That chief of police was Ishwara. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was the chief of police. I could have I could have got in an argument with him about Vedanta or something. But I just kept my mouth shut and watched what was happening, and it turns out, oh, there's Ishwara. And he's going to take me to the police station. And go stamp, and sign it, and off I go. So you never know. And apply the opposite energy or the opposite thought. Well, all of Vedanta is what? Applying the opposite thought. That's all. And there's one opposite thought that is only one opposite thought, which is what? There's something wrong with me. And what's the opposite thought of that? there's something right with me. So think, I'm okay. That's all. When you feel like you're not okay, think I'm okay, and then call to mind this teaching. We're all, if I haven't proved to you so far that you're beautiful, you're fine. Damn it, we're telling you, the scripture's telling you you're fine. You're always fine. You're beautiful. You're the beauty that makes beauty beautiful. Everything shines because you shine. You're the blessing for the whole world. Your very presence blesses the whole world. What are you worried about? There's nothing wrong. And what do? Oh, associate with great souls. That's always there. That's always listed as one of the root causes of freedom, is association with Mahatmas. What should you meditate on? Duality and non-duality, what it is. Vigilance, remain vigilant. That means what? Alertness, awareness. Swamiji always said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. You're like on watch all the time. You're like a sentry on watch. An army, in the war, they always have guys out in the field that are just like watching all the time. All night long, they stay up all night long. They watch everything. They listen to everything. They watch everything. That's vigilance. It's called vigilance. They're on a vigil. Right? And just keep that, and you'll have that if you really want to be free. If you have that mumukshutva, that was the fourth quality. I told you, viveka, vairagya, then shamadama, the other ones. And the fourth one is mumukshutva. So if you have that burning desire, you will be vigilant. You will keep right at it all the time. Don't give up. And the ego will keep telling you, oh, you've done enough today. It's really hard. Poor me, I have to talk to myself all the time. I fell asleep back there. I just slept right through this. You guys could have had a party here. I wouldn't have known. I thought, oh my God. Oh, Big Garen wakes up. Ramji, going satsang. Oh. Okay, satsang. All right. I thought, geez, why don't we just go to Yoga Nidra here? Let's have an hour of Yoga Nidra, and I can fake it. I'll fake Yoga Nidra, and then we'll convert all of your desire for objects into desire for freedom. The value of dissatisfaction. Learn to recognize when you're dissatisfied. Because dissatisfaction becomes normal. That's what we call normalizing the abnormal. It's abnormal to be dissatisfied. That's not normal. But it's become a normal state of mind now in society. Everybody's whining and complaining. That whining and complaining does not help the situation at all. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't change the situation at all. In fact, it is the problem.